Good evening again. I stand before you today as I did in a similar setting 6 months ago at Western Kentucky University for the National Speech Championships. It was my goal there, as it is here, to do my best and succeed. I was nervous, as I am today, but I may not be here if it had not been for what happened to me that hot summer day. My whole year was spent perfecting my speeches, and it was finally time for me to perform. Everyone in life will fail. Failure is inevitable. But losing doesn't make you a loser. It is from greats like Michael Jordan that I have found losing can actually make you a winner. Because with loss comes an ability to take another shot. When Michael Jordan played, he missed 9,000 shots. He lost almost 300 games, and 26 times he was trusted to take the winning shot, and he missed. He said that he has failed over and over and over again in his life. And this is why he has succeeded. Because from those shots missed and those games lost, he has scored 32,292 points in the regular season alone, and won 6 NBA championships, and been named MVP 5 times. The record, I might add. However, I believe it is the number of rebounds, that desire to go again, that makes one achieve. Pat Summitt, legendary women's basketball coach of the University of Tennessee, put it this way: offense sells tickets, defense wins games, rebounding wins championships. Now, as many of you can see, I am not a basketball star like Michael Jordan, but I do have dreams and goals of my own, and what makes me a winner is the ability I have to persevere. I'm not afraid to fail, and while I do not like to fail, as most people don't, I do find some of my greatest achievements have come as a result of my failures. For example, I recall thirds soccer. What an experience it was. Now, I would love to tell you all that I was captain of the team. I had an average of 2 goals per game, and was looked at by Dusty on several occasions to be the starting sweeper on the varsity team. Much to my dismay, this was only a dream. I had never played the game. I was slow, out of shape, knew nothing of the positions, and struggled not to whiff at the ball. I failed hundreds, probably thousands, a countless number of times. But in the end, I believe I succeeded. I learned a new sport, made new friends, and got an assist. The results of failing have produced some of the greatest achievers ever born. Babe Ruth struck out 1,330 times, but he also hit 714 home runs. R.H. Macy failed 7 times before his stores became a success. John Creasy got 753 rejection slips before publishing over 500 books. How many shots do you think Michael Jordan took for each basket he made? How many attempts at your first step did you take before you learned how to walk? How many times did you fall off your bike before you learned how to ride it? The point is that with one's defeat comes victory, if you keep trying. Thomas Edison once said, "Many of life's failures are people who don't realize how close they were to succeeding when they gave up." Trying is the key to success. What is it that makes one person try and fail and give up, and others to try again? Getting back on the horse, as the expression goes, is not always easy. But if you want to fulfill your life's dreams, then getting back on the horse is necessary. The horse may buck you off several times before the ride becomes smooth and you and the horse become one. But in the end, you sit gallantly atop the pristine beauty, and a sense of accomplishment and pride endures. There are some people who never challenge themselves, or never take the rebound. Instead, they look back at their lives one day and say, "If only," or "I could have," or "I should have." These are the people who have, in the end, lost because they did not seek. This is why it is always good to take a chance. Don't let a moment slip by, no matter what anyone says. Because in 50 years, when they're hating their lives, you could be playing NBA basketball, or writing for the New York Times, or accepting an award for Best Actor at the Oscars. Some of my personal heroes have overcome tremendous adversities and failures. For example, as the most recent recipient of the Screen Actors Guild Lifetime Achievement Award, James Earl Jones overcame a serious stuttering problem. His setback caused him to fail again and again, but his determination to be an actor prevailed. Over the past 5 decades, he's appeared in over 150 movies. His most famous works include King Mufasa in The Lion King, Jack Jefferson in The Great White Hope, and probably the most recognized villain to ever live, Darth Vader in Star Wars. The power of this man and many more has inspired others through their adversities and failures. These failures, hardships, and weaknesses have made others realize that they too can achieve greatness. Your failures are what shape your character. It's all in the risk of trying. So if you try and fail, think not of it as a complete end, but one step closer to your final destination. For MJ or Pat Summitt, their final destination is the Hall of Fame. What will your final destination be? What will mine be? Well, we don't know. So let's return to Western Kentucky University. What happened to me on that day? I performed my speeches. I did to the best of my ability. And in the end, I did not win the national championship. Sad, I know. It slipped through my fingertips. Was I upset? Well, of course. And so was my coach, and my mother, and everyone else on the team. I felt like I had been chewed up, spit out, and stepped on. Numerous times. However, while others might have given up completely, I have rebounded. I have taken another shot. I have taken another risk to try. And I stand here today, speaking like I did 6 months ago, now a little older and a bit more experienced. So, what would my advice be to you? Get off the bench, get on the court, and play the game. Because when the shot goes up, follow through. Take the rebound. Thank you.